There we go.
There we go.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Good, good.
I,
My
s-
name is still Rowdy on.
I saw it change back, yeah, but look, hey,
There it is. There it is. It's sticking.
what can we do? What can we do? So how are you keeping? How are things with you?
I'm keeping good. We're in phase one now, I imagine. Phase one still, I think, in
What is phase one over there? What's it been like?
uh it means that you can meet up in small groups, for what I
Mm,
understand. Everyone's still careful about everything. That and bars are open. So like you get
okay.
depending on where you go, it looks like nothing has happened. But everyone wears masks. Oh, it's just really weird. It's very weird,
Yeah.
but uplifting in a sense. But it does make you think. It's like, what's going on?
It's crazy, isn't it? Because I guess it's sort of because we're used to sort of one way of existing, right? Obviously, the old way, as I call it, for whatever reason, scarily call it, because I'm kind of expecting that life may not be the same. As in,
No, it
like,
can't be.
yeah, it can't be, or we're just like never gonna forget this, right? So that in that regard, it's not gonna be the same. Not to say that the world is gonna turn upside down. I don't want to scare anybody. Um, but you guys had it pretty tough over there, right? I mean, it was pretty restricting, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
how is that for you as a well, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, right? So how is that for your kind of creativity? Were you able to focus? Because I'm sure, like, obviously, it's probably people expect, oh, you can do so many things, but I'm like, no. I mean, you're emotionally being affected by something.
Obviously, I
Uh,
mean, a pandemic is a pandemic, Hun. Like it's always
mm,
gonna. Well, I was all set, and I am all set still. Decided to go ahead. To release my first official release, my debut AP. Um, and I kind of, I was focusing on having presentation gigs and all that kind of stuff.
mm,
At the start, you think, oh, great, like I've extra time to play and all of that.
mhm.
Um, but it's hard to not be singing about the same thing, or I don't know. I've started to be more chill about it. Like for me, writing songs would have always been something faster than it is now. You have all the time in the world, and it's like, why aren't you doing something you should be, or that kind of pressure
Mm,
voice. And we've been able to meet up with friends now over here. So
that's
as
good.
the more people we talk to, everyone's kind of having the same kind of issue, one way or another.
Yeah.
But the first few weeks, I was able to. I started trying to record myself because I'm absolutely shocking with technology. So just trying to record my own demos and things like that, trying to learn skills that are helpful for music. Like say if I'm not a flood of inspiration, well then try and put it somewhere else. And it just depended on the day from there, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, we are used to one sort of form of well, perception, let's say. It's not even existence because, like we're saying, we could work from home. Like I work from home quite a lot, maybe three quarters of my work is at home and the rest of it would be,
Anyway, like
live gigs. Yeah,
perfect.
anyway. So people would assume perhaps, and even I would assume, oh, well then I'm just losing a quarter of my sort of work ethic or whatever. But it's like, no, not it doesn't really work that way, It's like there's a different sort of feel to the planet, even as a society and economy and politically, that it
And
can be
individually as well. Like it feels
individually.
like everyone's had their own trip. Like I,
Yeah.
I live in our gaff or in our apartment. There's four of us.
Hmm.
So it's kind of in a way that's been helpful as well because we're all creative people. Um, Everyone plays music and everyone's really into art in general, and everyone kind of has their own stuff going on. So
Hmm.
I think depending on how you've spent this time, like you're either with family or you're with your partner, or I think it's been definitely useful to be a group of people because there's just different kind of energies coming around all of the time,
Mm.
for good and bad, like But I would say I've been lucky with that though, definitely.
Yeah, it's like you have your team with you, like your survival team. Everybody has their own perhaps contribution or skill set. Even that's how I'm feeling. In my place, everybody has their own. I was thinking like, whoa, if this was, and this is me just trying to take a super light-hearted approach to everything. Obviously, it's not my belief, but I mean, if we were in like a zombie survival situation, I was like, well, I feel like we have a good team here. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a certain skill set that they can sort
Yeah,
of contribute and stuff. But also that's sort of psychological and emotional support, which is hugely important too, right?
huge. Like I feel like we don't give each other enough hugs as well. I'm a hugger as well. Like I just felt like, oh, everyone just needs a hug. Although it's not advised. At least the people that you can hug, you should hug them, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen like these, these contraptions, and I suppose like it is quite necessary, but it's a little bit shocking to see almost, but it does have a function that I pretty much agree with, I think. But where they have, you stick your hands through the see-through thing to hug somebody, you know what I mean? I don't know if
Oh,
you've seen them. It's a
Jesus.
big plastic sheet with like hand holes, and you
I
put
have
in.
not seen.
It's like how people handle like uranium sticks and stuff, where you put your hands in the gloves, and then you're handling the core in the nuclear reactor. But it's like that, except you're hugging, your grandmother or
I
something
like
like
public
that.
spaces, as in people that would
Yeah,
would
basically
hold up
outside.
a free hug.
Somebody did. There's a video of somebody. I'll send it on to you. Like, and it's outside their house, even. And it's a woman coming out. Bless her. Bless her heart. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously rough. It's obviously horrible, but it was almost just kind of like, oh my God, we've come to this. You know what I mean? And there is these
It's
kind of,
mental now.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
mental. Like
There's stuff like
even
that.
here,
Mm.
even here, like when you see your friends and things like that. I don't know what it's like in Ireland. Like with my friends, anyway. The last time kind of talking to them, they're like meeting up and they're doing the distancing thing. I suppose everyone has gardens at home, more or less. In here, everyone's in apartments in the city, and
Yeah.
now, like say, I've been to local parks and things like that, and I mean, everyone who's in a group, like, it just seems like everyone's outside fiesta. Go on, like
Oh,
that's
really? Everything's back
that's
to kind
kind
of
of
normal in that way.
in that way. In
Mm.
that way, I don't know if it's like a cultural thing because of here as well, and you don't really know how to act, but at the same time, it's like, what? Just don't be an idiot, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
have fun. But everyone's kind of mixed now. I mean, yeah,
Mixed and mingled.
everyone.
I suppose it's hard because I mean, because of the restrictions being so hard, so extreme. Where kids couldn't go to the shops and stuff like that. I remember reading about that, and it was pretty rough. That obviously, once the restrictions are lifted a little bit, people sort of have to release so much pent up emotion and pent up lack of expression, let's say, or all that stuff. That's sort of.
Definitely. I mean, it's just like it's terrible. Obviously, measures have to be taken, but I think especially with kids, you know what I mean. They need to be out. You know what I mean. They need
Mm,
to do what they
absolutely.
can at least.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll try to lift it up into a positive note, because now it is interesting what is happening over there. But how did you? I hope this is going to segue into a positive note. You never know where conversations will take you with somebody new, but which is always the great. That's why I always love it, and that's why I love live, because you just don't know where you're going to be taken in a conversation. But tell us, how did you decide? I suppose to go over to Barcelona. It's really interesting to kind of either how did you decide, or how did you kind of make that move, or how has the move been to you? It doesn't have to be anything specific, but just curious about that.
um, well, obviously, I'm half Spanish anyway, but from the surname from my father's side, but grew up in well, on my Irish side, where my family are all Dubs, but I grew up mainly in Kildare. And when I was 18, I was mad into dancing, and I wanted to go over and do like a professional program, like just train full time. So I went over to Madrid for a year, um, and I had planned to kind of stick it out, but then I got I wanted to know my family. I wanted to know where that part of me came from and all of the rest. I got to meet my grandparents for the first time properly in Madrid, and then I knew I had a cousin in Barcelona or near Barcelona, not in the city, but so while I was living in Madrid, I met him and he showed me around, and I was thinking, wow, I could kind of do the same as what I'm doing in Madrid, but over here, at least I've kind of a contact. I got on really well with him. I never met him before in my life,
Hmm.
and just felt like an older brother to me. And I was like, sure, why not? Like, because I was getting by teaching English as well. I mean, there's always going to be a high demand for that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's lucky to fall back on that, and right, that's what I'm doing now as well. Like trying to push the record and teaching English classes in the morning and some evenings as well. So
Awesome, awesome. It's
yeah, it's
great.
mad. I wouldn't have imagined myself like working as an English teacher anyway.
Yeah.
But
Did you do the TEFL course? Was it? Was it a course
no,
you did?
no,
No.
no. And I probably I'll think of doing that at
Yeah.
some point. But I was lucky. Like I just got grabbed in by a few schools. Um, because of having experience with working with kids anyway, say in like stage schools at home,
Okay.
dance schools, and then teaching like say singing, musical theatre, that kind of stuff. Like from when I was a teenager even. So
Yeah. Amazing.
and then they were, oh, you're a native speaker and you've worked with kids. Go on, like.
Get in there. That's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, it's lovely. It must be really. Is it rewarding? Do you feel good about it? Is it, or is it super challenging, or how does that feel?
Oh, it's entertaining. The
Okay.
thing I like about it is that you're not bored. Like I worked in a secondary school last school year, and it was like a lot that happens a lot in say secondary schools in Spain. There's like a separate, oh, how would you call this?
Is it a
Like,
specialized sort of one?
yeah,
Is
so
it?
like a company would hire an extra English
Okay, like a
assistant.
tutor.
Yeah, but I would have the classes anyway. So it's
Hmm.
like I wasn't really in the school, but I was in the school. I was there every
Okay.
day. Like it was
You
like
were
a
like
separate
you were like an
company from.
outsourced
Yeah,
sort of situation, right? Okay.
yeah. No, it was totally legit though, I swear.
No, I wasn't implying that at all.
No, no. But yeah, I worked. That was intimidating. Now, I mean, that was working with secondary school kids,
Yeah,
and I was,
teenagers. Ugh.
oh, they're hilarious though. Some of them are just hilarious feckers. Like like even
Yeah.
if they're driving you mad, you're gonna get a laugh sooner or later out of it anyway.
Would you like know like growing up in Ireland and going through secondary school, obviously, right? You went through secondary school in Ireland. Would you
Mm,
prefer Spanish secondary school or Irish secondary school?
Irish.
Would you'd prefer to teach it?
Oh, teach.
Yeah.
Oh, teaching. I don't know. See, I don't know what I teach. See, I'm teach English over here, and then I just whip out the guitar, like
So let's say
just to teach them songs. But
would you teach Spanish in an Irish secondary school? Like, would you do the reverse opposite? Like, as in with regard to like how students
yeah.
are and stuff. Like,
Oh, I don't know, because I don't know if it's the same kind of thing. The whole kind of
mm,
gig here is like, oh, I'm a native speaker and all that,
mm,
and I teach them things about Ireland and teach them slang and things like that, and they
okay.
get a kick out of stuff like that.
Mm.
Um,
It might be more serious over in Ireland, right?
maybe it might be more serious. I don't really
Mm.
like if it was teaching a language as
Like for their leaving cert or something.
yeah, I don't really know that's how you learn a language properly as well. I have a sister studying Spanish for the leaving as well. She finds it awful hard.
Yeah, it
Um,
is. Yeah, yeah. The way it's taught and sort of that pressure, right? Were we talking about a little bit about like the pressure, obviously, with say same as us being in quarantine. It's very hard to sort of do stuff under that when there's a pressure upon people. I mean, some people prefer pressure, like it. I think I'm decent at the pressure, to be honest.
so would I be. That's what surprised
Yeah.
me about this with like say creatively as well.
Mm.
Because pressure does the world of good for me
Yeah.
sometimes.
Mm.
But I think you've that many free hours and it's kind of like
Yeah.
how how do I pull something out of this when every day is the same? And I know life's like that anyway with any routine, but
Mm.
um that's what it's been like as well. And I don't know, it just felt like even on social media, everyone was kind of right. I don't know, everyone's because there's only one thing on everyone's minds really at the
Yeah.
same time, and I'm like, do I really need to do another one of those, even if it's just for myself? I just didn't really feel the need to, um, in that,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that.
Well, like, but you did release a debut. It was your debut single that was released.
Yes, less
Fan-
than a week ago.
Fantastic. Well, like, congratulations first of all for
Thanks.
releasing a debut single. It's always an amazing feat to kind of just get that
I
first one
needed
out there.
something just to be excited about, especially with this going on. I was like, well, I've no gigs, blah 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 blah. But I
Hmm.
think it was the title of it as well. I was like, I thought for it to be out now, and of course, the whole idea of maybe I'll try look for a record label and all of this. Although it's so hard, and with all this going on, I can only imagine. Um, I really doubt there's many labels looking for new artists.
Well, it
But
depends, I guess, where you are, right? I mean, which label? Are you going for the Spanish label? Are you going for the Irish one? Are you going for the specific ones?
I had no idea, and then again with everything being online nowadays as well, it's like, does it even matter where you are per se?
Mm,
But I kind of went with the idea more people are going to know me here, even though really I've only spent say a year and a half doing my first gigs, and they've all been local in the city, and then the past while in really good venues. Like, I've been really pleased, like, especially to have nothing released. Like, I'm pretty happy at least to have done what I've done. And in Ireland, I think I wrote to a few of them, I think a couple, but I was like, I didn't really think many people would know me anyway. They wouldn't, like.
we had this conversation. Well, I've had this conversation with many musicians, and it was last Wednesday, exactly a week ago, where I kind of delved into sort of a question of the day, and that question was like, what do you prefer, being sort of the difference between being self-managed and sort of being managed by a label? And there was an interesting conversation, because there was sort of this 50-50 kind of thing. There was the good and the
Yeah,
bad about it, right?
I saw that, and I was like, yeah, I get
Yeah.
that.
So a lot of the problem, I don't know who said it, I thought it was really good, is that like a lot of the labels now want to sort of work with an already established sort of performer or band, where let's say, half of the legwork was already done for them. So let's say you've got, 10,000 likes on Facebook, or 20,000 streams, 50,000 streams on
Yeah.
Spotify. And that's unfortunately, as opposed to before, where the label would help you with all that, because obviously we didn't have the technology. So the label is seeking more out people that are able to do that themselves, which is an unfortunate thing. Like the big labels, we're talking Universal, we're talking, we're talking Sony, we're talking those kind of ones, and I don't know about the smaller ones, or the ones below them, or however, that are still probably, some of them would be owned by Universal. I think Universal has different
Like
splits.
sub labels.
Sub labels, that would be it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting, but I don't know. Like, as me as an artist as well, like I never really jumped to that idea. I always felt it was like a little bit that it was just like almost not dying, perhaps to say it. You know what I mean? And that what works now seems to be sort of the sort of viral stuff. That sounds really cheap and
Yeah,
cheesy, which
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't. But
And that
you know,
that can work in as an advantage, and it can just be very stressful as well. I don't know. I'm just new to this now, and I can't really say, oh, it was better before then, or it would have been so much easier. Like, there would have been problems either way. There
yeah.
would have been.
It's a beautiful journey, by the way. I'm not trying to deter you, as in like it's a lovely journey. The musical artist, the world, you know what I mean. The communities are beautiful in many cities. I mean, Dublin obviously being one of those hugely amazing musical communities of singer songwriters and
You can see
just
that,
just
yeah.
musicians. It's just beautiful, as you can see. Yeah. What is it like in Barcelona to gig?
To gig. I would say there's a higher demand now
Great.
for gigs. There's definitely
I like to hear that.
there's like newer festivals being created a lot of, like, more frequently. Um like, younger festivals. Like, it seems like there's always a new festival. Obviously this year is not a good year for that. But co- it's more of like an audience vibe that I would notice as different. I think I've spoken about this before, but I think it's harder to capture an audience being a singer-songwriter at times. Anytime I've had kind of trouble, I've just like hit the nail on the head and be like, here, listen, the door's there.
I love that. Really, like you do that live, would you?
I did it once because
I
there
think
was
it's great.
no, but no, it is great. It's like you paid to be here,
Defo, yeah.
not me.
Tell the truth.
I don't
Yourself.
get that. I don't get that. No, I will say people are enthusiastic, generally speaking. The people that go to gigs are enthusiastic. But I will say it's very, very often that you find people talking in the crowds, which happens at home as well. Also
Yeah.
happens at home, of course. And a thing that I wouldn't really like is that there's always like a gap between like the stage. Like, I
Okay.
think people are nervous to go up to the front.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that here as well. Yeah, and
Is
it's like
it?
that. I thought Spain would have been, well, in Barcelona, let's say, would have been. They're a lot more. I mean, with
When it's out,
bands, yeah, is it
yeah,
different?
yeah, with bands, yeah, or
Mm,
like with there's a lot of outdoor fiestas, like little
yeah.
neighborhoods would have local outdoor parties and things like that,
Mm,
and yeah, there because it's summer and everyone's outdoor drinking and all of the good stuff.
mm,
There you would get people up in front. It just takes longer. I'm not saying like the crowd are like this. Sometimes
mm.
I think it takes a little bit of warming up, but there are some really great venues and talent. I mean, there's great talent around. I'm
That's
really
awesome.
happy. Even just my group of friends, like I'm most inspired by them, and we all do very different things,
Mm.
and we've got a nice little group. We all help each other out. Like I
Do,
mean,
mhm.
what were you saying?
No, I was gonna let you continue if you had something, but I'm just curious because I was just fascinated by like just the different different cultural sort of social sort of vibes and stuff like that within a city. But do you? But I'd also like to because there's so many things I could ask you, and I want you to have your performance as well. So because I know I could probably talk for
Fire
ages
away.
about this, but do you miss sort of the Irish? Like, would you? Are you planning to stay in Barcelona for another while? Like, as it stands, forget about all this crap that's
Oh.
happening, obviously. But like, would you stay there as a musician? Is what I'm trying to, I guess, understand.
As a very simple answer, I don't know if it's easy to just do that, but I don't think I'd stay anywhere as a musician. I don't think that's, well, if your aim is to perform and meet new audiences,
Mm,
if you like playing live, I know there are some people that are just really into recording and being more of a studio producer kind of artist. For me at the moment, I'm just really excited to polish up a good live set and meet new audiences. And my original plan for this year was to come home for at least say just under a month in the summer um, and get myself some gigs around the country. Like even if they were just solo gigs or get someone like say an extra guitarist or someone else. Like right now, my band is all from here, and we've I have a drummer, I've a cellist, a piano player, a digi bassist as he plays synth for me, and then an electric guitar as well. So I'm really happy with the band I have here,
mm,
um, because that's more or less how the EP sounds. They're all the sounds that are on the record.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, things are adapted in live. But to answer the question, yeah, I think Barcelona's a good place to have a base because I mean, you know, you're close to a lot of European cities.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Um, and I suppose I started playing here. But that's kind of like the big doubt that I have at the moment. Is like, where do I go? What do I do? Like, especially with all of this happening.
Yeah, now I guess it's difficult, right, to make any decisions. It's kind of we live in day by day, right, or week by week at least. So it's quite tough. But I know a musician, for example, who lives in Berlin, you know, now, and we were speaking to him a few weeks ago as well, and he's just like, I've been here for 2 years, 3 years, and now I feel like going, to Glasgow now, So
Yeah.
he's kind of that
I
vibe,
would love to go to Scotland as well.
So you'd love to go to Scotland. Well, there you go. You might
Why
meet.
not? I'd love to go anywhere if it
Mm,
meant gigs. Like, why not? Like, that's for me. That's kind of the whole point of it. Like, I
mm,
just meet new people, see how your music is received. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just get better. Like, if you're playing more, you get better. You know,
Absolutely, and plus you're learning, you're getting more inspiration, right? As an artist,
just seeing more things. That's what I
yeah,
mean with this. Like, if you're seeing the same thing every day, at least for me anyway. If you know, there's little input. So I think it got to a stage. It was like it's very ridiculous to think, and maybe some people do like work like that, but it was just me speaking to myself. Like it's very ridiculous to think that at some stage, when I haven't even released my first album, that something's just magically gonna fall from the sky
yeah, because you have
during
time.
this
Yeah, doesn't
pandemic.
mean.
Like
Yeah,
no,
I get it. Yeah, I guess people as well have different sort of writing styles, right, or creative sort of styles. So some people like Barry J, we were speaking to last week, was saying that he would be, and a few musicians have said this, that they'd be more kind of nostalgic writers. So they'd have
yeah,
like stuff that's experiences or however that would have happened to them years ago. Let's say even if it was like months or however, and then they could then write about it. Then looking back, but they wouldn't really absorb. They wouldn't be too interested in what's happening now. So I guess now a lot of people that are kind of the current sort of writers that would just absorb
yeah.
things from
Like
around them.
observers, those kind of writers.
Yeah, yeah. Let's say in that
Yeah.
way that write, let's say there and then, right? So like I'm sure like a lot of writers will have obviously a little booklet, with a pen or whatever, and write stuff down, or you're on your phone,
We all do that. We all do that. I do that. I do write a lot. I write most days, even just for myself. It's kind of like a checking in kind of thing. Even if it's just a sappy diary entry, like it's all there. All the good stuff's in there.
better put a lock on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
like those password journal jokes.
yeah. They electrocute the person if they.
I I had one of those. I had a few of them.
So, would you like to play a few songs for us
I
today?
will.
Before
I
we could
will.
get carried away with conversation for a while, but good to hear you play.
Right. Mm. Can you hear me all right? I should be in tune.
Yeah, well, for me, yeah, everything sounds good. Tune-wise, I'm not too. I'm a drummer. Enough said.
Yeah, so I'll play. It's kind of hard to decide what to play, so because I haven't really been playing with gigs cancelled as well. It's not that I've been playing my set that much, even, which has been nice. But now I suppose even coming in, changing phases and all that is kind of making you feel that things can pick up again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like an outdoor open mic, and it was like the first time I played one of these songs in a long time. But it was
it's so amazing because we're like the bars. Sorry, I know you're about to start, but
uh,
like bars here won't be open till 10th of August. It's so late here.
that's because we love the pub, though.
I mean, like, come on. I mean,
You open the pubs and
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Malabar.
It's probably going to be like Spain, how you said. Everybody's it's kind of like back to normal, like nothing happens. So that could happen. As in like people will just not obey the rules and whatnot. But anyway, look, at least we have this for now, right?
At least. Right, I'll shoot away at the song that I released
Awesome.
just now.
Yeah,
I
the
do
floor
get
is
nervous
yours.
doing the
Don't. I mean, warm up.
internet
It's
gigging.
it is different. I know. Like, don't worry about it. It's all a bit of crack.
Right, this is called the spring in your step. I'm gonna
Awesome.
shoot away at it.
Cool.
You got it wrong, girl. The spring in your step won't trade its tracks on memory lane. For one stolen night, there's a movement inside, going far beyond your name. Wish she could wake up in some other year. What has you saving it up for tomorrow? Haven't you learned from the plans that shaped you round this time of year? See, there's a mighty moonlit show, and as it's whispering, it's called for letting go. From right under your nose, you know there's more where that came from. 'Cause it's as plain as letting go of fear. It's what you do with your time when it's not your moment. Another song before the last one plays you out into new frontiers. Yeah.
Awesome. Lovely.
Was that
Um,
heard okay?
yeah, it was great. Absolutely lovely. So that's your first single release. That's your debut single from your upcoming EP, correct?
Called Heart to Hearts. Yes, I didn't even say that
Heart to
earlier.
Hearts is your
Yes,
EP,
is
right?
the name of it.
Deadly, deadly. It's a lovely tune, and it's out. You also have a music video to go along with that, right? It's on YouTube.
I do. Yes,
Deadly.
and as I was saying with like my friends here in like other bands and stuff like that, actually the guy who directed it is in a band from here. They're our friends. They're called Capro Must Go, and they're really cool too.
Awesome.
And he directed that for me. And actually, the guy who plays um, synth and electric guitar in my band edited the video as well. So it was very
Amazing.
nice.
It's great to have that. Like, yeah, once again, like
Yeah.
having that team of skill sets, right?
And one of the little girl in the video as well is my English student as well. So there you go.
Isn't it awesome? It's great that the to do all that kind of stuff, right? You're going through the songwriting process, you're going through the recording process, then after that, you go through the video making process. Like it's an amazing thing, isn't it, to go through all that? How creativity, how how
You need other people as well, you know.
yeah, and that as well, right? So it has that mix of sort of connection with people plus that creativity. So it's an awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Just to make each other shine, you know. Like you can't do everything by yourself. I mean, I can write the tunes, and then it's what makes them beautiful is kind of how someone can listen to it, how it can be perceived, and then how someone who's good with visuals and things like that
Yeah.
can have some sort of vision that that's not my area of expertise at all. But I love it. Like it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, definitely.
Yeah, I suppose it is hard to be an expertise in many things, right? It's almost you don't have a choice. You have to work with it, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is. Like you're saying, it's lifting everybody up together, isn't it? In a way, and it's allowing people to express themselves creatively as well. Like it's giving somebody an opportunity to work with you. Let's say for whatever
Yeah,
reason,
and
it's awesome.
I feel like even just with the direction of the video, and then also with the production of my EP as well, it was just in really good hands the whole time. I felt, there was a lot of investigation going on with trying to find sounds and things like that.
Mm.
And then imagery that I want to portray in the video as well. I knew that I wanted a mirror in there somewhere, and I wanted to dance around with what do I call it? Not a stem of flowers in my hand, like a little ode to Morrissey.
Awesome, amazing. Would you like to play another song for us? You don't
Yeah.
have to, by the way, but I'd love you to.
No, I will. I'm in the humor.
Awesome, love it.
This is actually the song that opens up the EP as well, so stripped down. It's called Riddles, this song. Is right. You can hear it all right, yeah? Or do you want me to move the mic at all?
Yeah, you could actually move it a little bit closer, actually, if there's an option for it.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Let us know. Let us know at home, guys. People watching in, if you are enjoying the conversation, if you're enjoying the music, do let us know. I'm joined by Elle León at the moment. Am I pronouncing your last name right?
Yes, you are. Well done. Gold
Thank you.
star.
My brother's called Leon, so and it's
Solid.
pronounced that way because in Polish you pronounce it that way as well.
First name.
Yeah, first name Leon. Yeah, but Irish people call him Leon, of course.
I got that too.
Yeah, we had this conversation before we went
This
online.
is for him. I'm going to dedicate this one to him. Leon.
You'll appreciate it.
Have you come alone? Are you the kind to follow your senses and slide under folds of heather, falling short of surprise? But it bothers you when no one reads your mind. Haven't your fancies been kind with your cold and warmer sides? Fully unclothed, let it be known there's wonder in feeling small. Your dance is a honest tumble out of fun you're not missing. You land and laugh so hard, the riddles you're quitting. to forget. I turn it on their heads tonight, but take it as a sign. Is it often that you're swallowed by the shade? We've all felt defenseless at some stage, when the words you allow to fly out won't get us very far. Secrets depart, you think with your heart, don't you? In hopes of honesty, bringing us close as close can be. Maybe your guidance has owed you a friend like you in me, so everyone can see there's beauty in feeling small. Your dance is a honest tumble out of fun you're not missing. You land and laugh so hard, the riddles you're quick to forget. I turn it all on their heads for you, and I take it as a sign.
Awesome. It's great. It's weird. I know it's strange. You have one person that you can see listening to you, and
I can hear my flatmate as well walking around.
oh really? Yeah. No, it's such a
Falling out
different
by the
vibe.
door.
I'm kind of thinking, should I? Yeah, I was kind of half messing, going like, oh, should I just press like a, an applause button, like where you used to in a bar or something, like a 50-person, 100-person kind of applause. But no, I think it's just something we have to get used to, isn't it? Eventually.
It's
Is
mad.
these,
It's mad. I haven't done many of the live gigs now. I did one.
You've done one, have you? Okay.
Yeah, and it was on someone else's. It's because it was on someone else's phone, because mine is just an absolute turd. But no, at least with you got your little mic, and it's alright.
Well, it's good on the laptop, right? So this is what you're using now. So it's definitely it's awesome. It's great. It's much harder when people are using a phone, I have to say. It's really hard to appreciate, because the phone only has certain limitations, as we spoke. Audio wise and things like that. So no, it's absolutely awesome. I know we said possibly 3 songs, but I'm just running so late. I don't want to keep too many people waiting, so I do apologize for having to rush or anything. But tell me, is there anything you'd like to? First of all, it's been an absolute delight chatting to you, even though it feels quite brief, but it's funny, like, how we get to connect with people, and because this is like a 30-minute segment, right? So and sometimes when you're meeting musicians in a bar, let's say during a gig or something, you don't get that much time, because obviously there's so much stuff going on. There's so many
people around as well. So.
Absolutely. So this is great. I'm actually getting to kind of connect with people on a sort of.
I find it so nice as a watcher as well, though. Even just people I have no idea who they are, like, just stick it on like that. Right now, it's just really comforting to hear other musicians talk.
Yeah, and from across the world, right?
Keep it real, like.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is great. So that's why I'm doing the 5 platforms as well, so everybody sort of finds their sort of preferred place. Yeah, to sort of enjoy. So thanks so much for tuning in, thanks so much for coming on to the show. Is there anything you would like to tell people, I guess, tell people about your upcoming EP, give us a little bit of info about what's next.
Okay, things that haven't been announced anyway. Would be that, well, I haven't said it and I haven't made any post, but it's going to be out, if everything goes well, on the 26th of June.
26th of June. Awesome.
Yeah, I put out the single, I think, just put it all out there. There may be another little surprise in there. I may pull a few tricks, but that it'll be out on the 26th of June. Um, I will be doing physical copies as well. I'll probably sell it digitally as well.
Hmm.
Um, just for the lack of gigs and things like that. And I'll probably use it as a type of pre-order. So anyone that buys it online will get a physical copy when I have them. So that money will literally go towards making physical copies. It's been very hard economically, like losing gigs, losing work. So I think that's kind of the best way to do it at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm focused on at the moment. And getting back to band practice, meeting up with bandmates.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do that in 2 weeks. I think we're allowed to meet up with band. We're allowed to meet up with bandmates. So I'm kind of excited about that too. So listen, absolute pleasure chatting to you,
Thank
and
you very much.
yeah, keep the music alive. Well done. I love what you're doing. So
We'll do our
fair
best. You
play to
too,
you.
you too. Fighting the
And
good fight.
yeah, so I might see you in Barcelona or vice versa, right?
I'm here.
Preferably
Oh,
me in Barcelona. I definitely want to check out the music scene there. So maybe I'll have you as a
Deli,
hookup
Deli, do.
to sort of get my way in there. So take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for
Deli,
coming
you
on.
too.
See ya.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that was Elle León, and you can find her obviously on Facebook, and she already has a single released.